So there's 5 things that you need to start recording at home. You need a good room, you need a good microphone, you need an audio interface, you need a DAW, which is the audio recording and editing software, and you need some kind of monitoring setup. Those are the 5. So the first thing is your room. Now, there's 2 types of rooms that you can work with if you want to record at home. The first type is a room that sounds great, and the second type is a room that you muffle and dampen to the point where you don't hear the room reflections at all. Let's talk about each of those. So if you have a room that sounds great, for example, you live in a larger house and you have high ceilings, you have a nice living room with wood floors, you could get away with recording drums or vocals in there if you want to hear the room sound. It could sound really good. There's a couple different tests for this. The first one I would recommend is the clap test. So what you're going to do is clap and listen to the reflections of the room. Try to ignore the clap itself. Try to decide if that room is a pleasant sound or if it's a little bit too ringy, a little bit too resonant. And you're also going to be looking for what's called standing waves or fast sound reflections between parallel walls. If you do have those, it'll sound like a fluttering effect. It'll sound literally like a ping pong ball, the sound going back and forth between the 2 walls very quickly. And we'll have to do some kind of sound treatment to eliminate those. This could be dampening on the walls, this could be bookshelves, this could be large furniture, anything you can think of to diffuse, reflect, and dampen those sound waves. The second type of room that you might be in is a smaller room. Maybe you're in an apartment, maybe you have just your bedroom to record in. That's totally fine. What you'll need to do, since it's not resonant open, it's not going to have a very pleasing resonance to it. You're going to do the opposite, and you're going to dampen and condense and make that room sound tight and compact as much as possible. And to achieve that, you'll have to make sound panels, which I'll have a video on showing you how to make those for just $5 each. You can also buy them online. You're looking at heavy foam that you can hang on the walls, the ceiling. You're looking at carpet to put on the floor. Anything you can do to dampen and muffle the sound. Okay, number 2, we have our room set up. We're going to have to buy a mic. First things first, we need to decide if we need a dynamic microphone or a condenser microphone or both. So a dynamic microphone is just what it sounds like. It deals with and accepts and receives loud sound pressures better. It receives dynamic sounds better. So that's a way you can remember it. Dynamic mic likes dynamic sounds. A condenser microphone is better for small, soft, condensed sounds. Nothing too loud. We're thinking about acoustic guitar, maybe soft vocals, that kind of instrumentation. So drums, dynamic. Acoustic guitar, condenser. Soft vocals, condenser. Loud vocals, dynamic. You get the idea. So you have those 2 options for microphones, and as long as you get the right mic and you're not distorting it, you're pretty well off with just about anything. You definitely don't want to get a USB mic. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Find a mic that takes XLR connection, and that will connect to your interface, which we'll talk about next. Okay, third thing. So we have our room set up. We have a great mic that we love, condenser or dynamic. Now we're going to find an audio interface. First thing I would recommend doing is going online. Go to Sweetwater if you can. They're a great company. And check out audio interfaces and see what different options are available. You'll see that you can buy an audio interface from $30. You can spend $3,000, $5,000, even higher from there on an audio interface. What's important is that you're getting good audio to digital conversion, AD conversion. All that means is you're going from a sound into the microphone, and your interface, it's literally an interface between the mic and the computer. That interface can translate that sound without affecting it much at all. So the more money you can spend, obviously the better, but you don't need to spend as much as you think most likely. There's a great starter interface I'd recommend. It's Focusrite 2i2, and that has 2 inputs. You can plug in your guitar and your vocals into there. You'll need 2 mics, of course. But it's a great interface. It has great AD conversion for somebody just getting started. You can also go up from there, and you'll see that as you go up in price, the quality of the interfaces get better and better. So remember, we're just getting an interface to translate the sound coming from our instrument, our voice, into the microphone, and then into our computer through the interface. And the quality of the interface changes the quality of the audio going in. If you have the best mic in the world and the worst interface in the world, your sound is not going to be good because the AD conversion is not good. Okay, we have a great room, we have a great mic or two mics, and we have a great interface. Next thing we're going to need is some kind of DAW. DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation, and it's what allows you to record into your computer and edit and mix your tracks. So the first question to ask is, do you have a Mac or a PC? Because there's different DAWs for each of those. If you have a Mac, my first recommendation is GarageBand. It's on your computer, it comes with your Mac, and it has just the same audio as any of the other DAWs, so you'll be well off with that. If you can, I would recommend upgrading to Logic at some point. It's basically the same interface as GarageBand, but slightly more advanced tools and better software instruments. If you have a PC, I would recommend Studio One is great. You can also break the bank and get Pro Tools. That is the industry standard for mixing. There's a couple other options. You can get Cubase. Again, check out the Bedroom Recording on a Budget PDF. Those are all outlined there. Anything you get is fine as long as it works on your system, your operating system, and you're comfortable with it. So really any DAW will do as long as you can learn it quickly and you're content with all of the features it has. Okay, we're super close. We have great room, great mic, great interface. We have our DAW set up. Last thing we need is some kind of monitoring system. And the reason for that is so that after you get all these sounds great, you have your great room sound, you have a great mic, to listen back and make sure that you're recording at an adequate level, that your mix sounds good, you need something. And what I would recommend, there's two options for this. You can get headphones or you can get speakers or monitors. Ideally, if you're going to get into mixing, I would get the speakers, I would get the monitors. And the reason for that is there's actual air between the speakers and your ears, and so you get a better idea of the mix and placement and orientation of the instruments. You can also get headphones, and they are the cheaper option, and there's no problem with that. Just keep in mind that when you're mixing on headphones, there's a little bit of an isolation happening if you have closed back headphones, and it might affect your mix if you're doing any kind of heavy mixing. But out of the 5 things, your monitoring is the least important, and anything that you can get that has a decent sound to listen back and make sure that your recording setup is the way you like it will do just fine. So there's our 5 things. We have our room, we have our mic, we have our audio interface, we have a DAW, and we have some great monitoring. So from there, you're good to go. You can start recording and send us your tracks. If you have anything you'd like produced, make sure you go to foxtracksmusic.com. We do extra instruments on top of your tracks. We do mixing, mastering, anything you can think of. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and make sure you grab our Bedroom Recording on a Budget PDF. The link is in the description.